Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. Welcome to Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka, bringing together today's leading experts to uncover ever-deepening spiritual truths and the latest scientific developments in support of the evolution of humankind. For more information on Mission Evolution Radio with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit www.missionevolution.org. And now, here's the host of Mission Evolution, Miss Gwilda Wiyaka.
Hello, dear friends. This is Mission Evolution Radio Show, where we share innovative thoughts with today's leading scientific and esoteric experts, supporting the path to unity and enlightenment. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. This hour we'll be exploring Vitalizing the Sacred Temple of Light. In prior Mission Evolution episodes, we've discussed the importance of reducing resistance from our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. This is necessary to take advantage of the evolutionary opportunities presented by the increase in ambient frequency. If we do not clear restrictions, it's much like plugging a 110 toaster into a 220 socket. Toast, and not in a good way. Many of us have taken steps to accommodate the increased flow of frequency or light, yet many hidden compromises have accumulated over time as humans increasingly remove themselves from the natural order. What are these unseen restrictions? Where do they come from? How can we clear them in order to evolve? How can we best support our multidimensional bodies, these sacred temples of light? With us this hour to further explore the care and feeding of the evolving human being is Jonathan Glass, the author of Total Life Cleanse and co-creator of the Total Life Cleanse program. He's a Master Acupuncturist, Ayurvedic Practitioner, herbalist, and Natural Health Educator. For over 20 years, Jonathan has facilitated individual and group-supported transformational cleanse programs for thousands of participants. He served on the faculty of the New England School of Acupuncture and the Dharma Academy of Yoga and Ayurveda. His website, totallifecleanse.com. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us on Mission Evolution.
Thank you so much for having me, Gwilda. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's so nice to talk to you again. We're going to bring some good stuff forward. I can feel it already. So you're a certified Ayurvedic therapist. What is Ayurveda?
Ayurveda is a system of medicine from India that dates back over 5,000 years ago, which is you could call it the sister of the yoga system. So it's a very comprehensive, in-depth system of medicine that is aligned with the values of the yoga system. So as many of us know, we've heard that phrase from the father of Western medicine, Hippocrates, physician do no harm. And that is actually the principle of Ayurveda, is to do whatever you do to help someone that has the greatest effect, but with the least damage to that person. So it's very, very advanced in herbology and nutrition, in assessment, in yoga. It even includes things like gemology, astrology, really looking at the whole person, which is really, really a major part of the Ayurvedic system. In fact, it actually even included surgery. They were the first people to ever do facial surgery. So there's a great deal of information, knowledge in Ayurveda.
Amazing. Cleansing is a big part of what you're doing, and cleansing appears to be an ancient practice found in many traditions. Where did it begin?
Well, where it began, it's hard to say because, what I'm sure it was done. We know it was done in the time of Christ. The Essenes were big cleansers, but it's been inherent in the system of Ayurveda, which again it dates back over 5,000 years. But the founder of Ayurveda, named Dhanvantari, it dates so far back that we can't even comprehend it. So it's been around for many, many thousands of years, and the benefits or the understanding of cleansing has been an inherent part of that practice as well. So it goes back a long ways, that's for sure.
So what exactly are toxins?
Toxins there's different ways of looking at it, but they're sort of anti-nutrients. One way of looking at the body or the immune system is, that which is either a nutrient for the body or beneficial for the body, or that which is an anti-nutrient or against the benefit of the body, or that which is neutral. And there are many things, for instance, that are on the fence. So a little bit of arsenic of organic arsenic from plants is not actually a bad thing. It actually has benefits to the body, because when we stress the body a little bit, it can have positive benefits. Just like exercise, if we stress it a little bit, then we get some positive benefits. If we overstress it, then we can damage the body. In the same way, there's different toxins that are, that are on the fence. Now, a lot of people are exposed to lots of arsenic these days because of the effects of pesticides, and they tend to have a lot of arsenic in them. So then arsenic then becomes a poison, which causes a great deal of trouble and gives people all kinds of strange symptoms like MS and things like that. So toxin to sum it up, is an anti-nutrient.
So where do they come from? Where all do they come from, toxins?
Well, some of them are coming from nature, and some of them are coming from man-made chemicals and devices and things like that. So in terms of natural, we have mercury. So mercury, they're all natural. Lead is natural, mercury is natural, but it's when we use them in our technologies and they get exposed to our systems, in unnatural amounts, then they become problematic. When a volcano blows its top, that emits a tremendous amount of mercury. So that's nature. But nature also has its way of cleaning it up, where that dust from the volcano that falls into the ocean settles to the bottom, is absorbed by this amazing rock called zeolite, which absorbs the mercury. So it protects the oceans from the mercury. And so now scientists have figured out how to take that zeolite, remove the mercury, and put it into micro forms and use it as a nutrient for the body to actually help clear the toxins. So some toxins are natural, and then of course we have many toxins, cadmium, lead, which are high in tobacco, lead, which was obviously high in paints, arsenic high in pesticides, and we have over 90,000 chemicals made by industries, and only about 20,000 have ever been tested for human safety.
Oh my goodness!
So
you're telling me toxins are a greater problem now than in times past?
Yeah, no, that's true. The toxins are a much greater problem now, and Cleansing was a huge part of their system thousands of years ago. So imagine how much more necessary it is now than it was thousands of years ago.
Yeah, sorry, and how less frequently you see it going on. I mean, people have just gotten away from it, haven't they?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because cleansing has become, in a good way, in one sense, has become quite popular. The concept of it, but a lot of people still think of it as, I'm doing a 3-day cleanse, or I'm doing my juice fast, or I'm doing this or that. And those are all good because that breaks patterns, and it actually helps us experience that we can eat really clean for a few days, or we don't need nearly as much food as we think we do, or, yes, I can actually live on fruits and vegetables for a few days. That's amazing, and it's a good thing. And it does stir up the body, and it does help the body, start the process of detoxification. But in Ayurveda, it's explained that we should literally do a significant cleanse twice a year, ideally in the spring and the fall, because the body naturally accumulates toxins from the environment, from the food, from the air, from the water. And it just makes sense to do that, to reset. And also it's an opportunity to reset our habits as well.
Right. So, Jonathan, how can a person tell if they're toxic? How can you tell if you're getting toxic or are?
There's different ways. From a just practical way, and there can be lots of reasons why people have fatigue, poor skin tone, bloodshot eyes, coated tongue, particularly coated tongue, lots of itchiness on the skin, pain around the liver area or the liver area of the back. There's lots of different signs and symptoms. Bagginess under the eyes, or not just bagginess, dark circles under the eyes can also be toxins. So there's a lot of sort of practical indicators. Of course, those can be other things as well that can be related to viruses or other issues, other immune issues. So you can't just jump and say, I'm toxic because of those symptoms, but those are red flags that we can look to explore. But then there are some really good tests these days. You can use hair analysis is a pretty good indicator of heavy metal toxicity. There's urine tests that you can take to see how much heavy metals you're eliminating through the urine. And there are muscle testing technologies that I use a lot in my practice, where I have vials of thousands of different toxins and chemicals, and we can actually scan the body to see if anybody is storing those toxins. I had a woman recently who was doing really, really well on eating extremely well, and she was losing a lot of weight. She wanted to, and she was doing a great job. She had a lot of weight to lose, and she hit a wall. And then she came in, and we muscle tested her, and she was coming up with all kinds of industrial toxins. And I asked her whether she'd ever worked, with chemicals before, and she said, yeah, about 15 years ago, I've worked in a chemical plant, and they gave us masks, but none of us felt like they were very good masks. So the story went on. So anyway, we put her on a little chemical detox, and her metabolism, she cleared the toxins, and with just literally within 4 or 5 days, her body just started.
Well, we're going to have to get
again.
into the rest of this on the other side of a little commercial break. Jonathan and I will return shortly, so don't you go away. You're listening to the Mission Evolution Radio Show, coming to you through the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shamans worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back. This is the Mission Evolution Radio Show, missionevolution.org. We're dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. Our guest this hour is Ayurvedic Practitioner Jonathan Glass. His website, totallifecleanse.com. Jonathan, you were just sharing with us, and after the end of the first segment there, a very interesting story about a lady that was on a cleanse and losing a lot of weight, and all of a sudden hit a brick wall. And I think that this is such a common thing that people, we're doing good. Why all of a sudden is there this problem? Is there a place where we start to break into old stored toxins and get overloaded like a healing crisis?
Yeah, that's how I look at it. That the body is, it's a little bit like a tree, and we, just like we take in nutrients and we grow the branches and the fruits and the flowers. When we're doing a cleanse, whatever toxins have settled into those branches, fruits, and flowers, they come back toward what we call the central channel. They recede back to the center of the body. And that means it's putting more stress on the liver, on the kidneys, on the different organs of detoxification. And sometimes people will surprisingly even get constipated, which seems counterintuitive when you're doing a cleanse. But that can happen because if we're releasing a lot of debris back into our bloodstream, then the liver and kidneys have to deal with that, and that gets dumped into the intestines. So we can have what I call a detox-retox. If the body's not capable of keeping up with what's being dumped, then it has a sort of retoxifies itself, and then we have a setback. And that is another really good reason why cleansing with intention and with good effectiveness, but at the same time at a good pace, an optimal pace, which is not too fast. Because if we do it too quickly, many times we'll have a rebound effect. And in that case, many times people will either give up because they feel so lousy, or they feel overwhelmed, or they feel confused about, can I move forward? Or they don't know what to do when they're feeling, am I having a retox, and what do I do here? So knowing how to navigate through that can be really helpful, really important.
And here's where I'd like to go next. How is diet and lifestyle related to consciousness and transformation?
That's a great question, and that's one that I really, really love to talk about. And I'll come at it a little bit from the Ayurvedic perspective. It's described in Ayurveda that everything in this world is made up of a combination of three energies, sattva, rajas, and tamas, which you don't have to know, but basically it's a dense energy, a fiery or passionate energy, or an energy of harmony and goodness. So some people describe it as ignorance, passion, and goodness. So everything's made up of that. So if you go into, Wall Street, it's very, very passionate. If you go to a brothel and there's fighting and arguing going on, that's more in the mode of what's called darkness or ignorance. And if you're going to a healing center or a temple or nature itself, that's more harmonious and has an energy of goodness. So when we eat foods that are considered to be more in the mode of darkness or passion, that affects our consciousness. Because although we are, again, I'm speaking from an Ayurvedic perspective, and although we are pure beings, pure light beings, that's a fact. But just like the sun can be covered by the clouds, and if you don't know that the sun exists, you might think, oh, the sun is gone. But no, actually the sun is there, but it's covered by the clouds. You can't see the sun. In the same way, when we expose ourselves to lots of energies, whatever we're doing externally, but certainly foods that have a much denser, negative, you could say even a dark vibration to them, then that'll affect our consciousness. It'll affect the lenses through which we see ourselves and also see the world. And it makes us work much harder. So, for instance, if we're meditating and going to our yoga classes and reading good books and associating with like-minded, loving people who are also interested in personal growth and spiritual advancement and those types of things, but yet we, continue to, drink 6 beers a night and eat a lot of fast food from genetically modified foods and, very unclean and bad fats and, animals that weren't taken care of at all, then eventually it affects our consciousness, and it'll make it more difficult to maintain a steady or higher state of consciousness, just because we're putting so much burden on our body, which then clouds the senses, clouds the mind, clouds the intellect in different ways. Everything is energy. So whatever you put in your body, you're taking in not just the chemical or the nutrients, but you're also taking in the vibration of that which you're eating.
So if the animals are traumatized, you're taking in trauma. If the plants are chemicalized, you're taking in chemicals. Is there also, if we're just talking about vibration, and I love that you brought that up, do we need to be mindful about how high or low our food vibrates? And is there a point at which it takes more of our vital life force to digest it than what we're getting back out of it?
Absolutely. I mean, if we're eating junk food, it's going to take more nutrients for us to break down that food, to metabolize it, to clear it, to protect the organs, we will use up our own supplies of antioxidants. So we end up going into a deficit, really. I mean, practically it takes more energy to we use up more nutrients than we benefit from eating that substance.
And isn't that pretty much where a lot of us are living in this modern world?
A lot of people are living like that in the modern world. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people are becoming quite polarized, but a lot of people are waking up to it. But yes, it's a huge problem. And, obviously, I mean, every once in a while I'll watch, the Red Sox or something like that, and the commercials that are on, I mean, my wife and I cringed, and it's like, I don't know if I could live for very long if I ate like that. I mean, it's really quite remarkable what they're advertising on the television and what they're promoting out there for people to eat. It just is kind of mind-blowing, actually.
Isn't there kind of a downside of really getting clean and cleansing, in that you don't have that kind of luxury anymore? It's like your body tolerates it less and less.
Yeah, you tolerate less and less. And here's an analogy, though. And sometimes people say, I feel more sensitive now that I've done the cleanse, and that's a good thing. So here's an example. Say I smoked cigarettes once for a year of my life when I was studying accounting and statistics, and clearly it wasn't meant to be my profession. So I remember smoking for the first time and coughing my brains out and thinking, this is stupid, this is crazy, why would anybody want to do this? But then I kept trying. I was with my friends and they all smoked, and sure enough, I learned to tolerate it. And then, so it's not that I was actually healthier, though. My lungs were actually sicker now that I could tolerate it. The first line of defense is the cough. That's a superficial thing. It's saying, cough, cough, stop doing this. But I kept doing it, and soon I bypassed the cough. But then, a month later, 2 months later, I started coughing again, but it was a different kind of cough. It was a cough from damage to my lungs. First cough was just saying, ouch, get this out of here. Yeah. Right. So when that happens, when we cleanse, we actually start noticing more on a superficial level what we're actually ingesting. So you notice much quicker. Where before someone might have been walking around with sore joints, foggy brain, bad digestion, aches and pains, some skin issues, some congestion issues, dullness, lack of mental clarity. So all those things, which are, you could argue are sort of systemic, deep-level things. But then you eat something after cleansing, you have an immediate reaction. You may get an immediate headache, or you might get an immediate sinus congestion, or you might get immediate gas or bloating just very, very quickly. And that's your body saying, oops, this is not for you. It's not that you're more sensitive. Your body's just actually more tuned in to what you're putting into it. It's giving us a message saying, hey, this is not for you.
Instead of being so beat down, it can't even complain.
Exactly. Yeah. Or causing some serious, other issues. That we know about, serious diabetes, cancer, heart disease. Those are serious, deep-level chronic diseases that are caused to a degree by what we eat.
It's amazing. Do we have an increased opportunity to evolve at this particular time in history, Jonathan?
That's another great question. I would say absolutely. And, the forces of, you could say, light and dark are sort of increasing in both directions. I mean, just the fact that you have this amazing show and we're having this conversation, it would be a very strange show if this was 40 years ago, 50 years ago. It was almost unheard of. It may have been there were people like yourself, but it was unusual. But now there's so many people that are interested in these topics. So it's really, really expanding, but yet the industries that are not in favor of personal growth, spiritual growth, consciousness, people making real choices for their health and optimal well-being in body, mind, and soul, there's industries out there that really don't necessarily, they don't want that. They want to keep feeding their wallets. And some of these industries, whether they're the pharmaceutical or the food industries in different ways, there's very strong interest, and they have a lot of money, a lot of backing, and there's still a lot of people, and they do a lot of research that always indicates their favor. That's what's participating in the big divide that's happening right now. More so that we think it's just the politicians. It's not just the politicians. There's other forces out there that are happening.
It's the whole system.
It's the whole
right?
system, exactly.
And isn't that
another level, if I can just add.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, isn't that system just what has developed during the darker times? It's not
Exactly.
good, it's not bad, it's just what was being supported during the dark.
Exactly. It's based on our consciousness, based on what the people are, how we're vibrating.
Absolutely.
And then I will say that
Jonathan, we're going to have to take another short pause. It's time.
No worries.
Jonathan and I will return to our discussion on the other side of this break. So you stay right there. This is Mission Evolution Radio Show. We're coming to you on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hyde's life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Welcome back. This is the Mission Evolution Radio Show, missionevolution.org, bringing leading-edge information supporting the path to enlightenment. We're speaking with Ayurvedic Practitioner Jonathan Glass. His website, totallifecleanse.com. Jonathan, how do toxins impact our ability to participate in evolution of consciousness?
It's a great question. Let's take heavy metals as an example. Heavy metals are minerals. And most people, many people don't really know that they're in the same category as calcium, magnesium, zinc, sulfur, minerals that are actually beneficial for the body. But heavy minerals are heavy. They're literally like big molecular weight, and they're like big bullies. And they sit wherever they sit in the body, on the walls of the cells, and they interfere with optimal cellular communication. And that means taking nutrients in, that means letting nutrients out, that means allowing toxins to be excreted out of the cell. So these heavy metals interfere with cellular metabolism, and everything is energy. So it's not just chemical, it's actually, you could call it electrical, or in Ayurveda they call it prana, and in Chinese medicine they call it qi. So this bioelectric energy of the body gets interrupted, and then we just don't function as well. Our physical body doesn't function as well. Our mental body doesn't function as well, and it makes us have to work so much harder at whatever we do, whether it's physical tasks, mental, emotional, and even spiritual practices and things like that. It just means it's putting so much burden on the body. The other thing is these chemicals put burden on the liver. And the liver in Chinese medicine, it's a very interesting organ. They give it, in Chinese medicine, they give it a lot of importance, a great deal of importance. In one sense, the liver and the heart are seen as the two most important organs in Chinese medicine, because the liver is so intelligent and works so hard to protect us. And when it's exposed to toxins, if it can't completely break it down and clear it, it stores it. And it stores it again and again and again. So if we're, over time, being exposed to a lot of toxins, then the liver becomes burdened. And in Chinese medicine, it's understood, and this is, I really believe this is true because I see it in my practice all the time. It's the house or the home of what's called the hun. And the hun is they describe it as a spirit, but it's really the energy of hopefulness, of excitement, of desire to live our life at its best. So when the liver is sluggish and tired, or as we call stagnant, it becomes the opposite of excited, hopeful, visionary, enlightened. That type of energy becomes what? Becomes angry, frustrated, dull, depressed, lethargic, uninterested, uncreative, can't make decisions, no hope. So a sluggish liver is not just an organ problem, but it's a mental, emotional, spiritual problem as well. And so
how
therefore
can we
toxins have a great impact.
How can we access higher frequency of spirituality if we're so bogged down that we're in hopelessness, right?
Exactly.
You indicate there's more to toxicity than just the physical aspect. Would you please go into this for us?
Yeah, well, like I just touched on that a second ago, in a way where, when the liver gets impacted, how it affects us on a mental, emotional level as well. And then we also look at, it's all very connected, obviously, but there's toxins that we've cultivated you could say for many lifetimes, that have to do with over-attachment, over-aversion, and indifference. And in Buddhism, they call it the three poisons. And the three poisons is, if I feel indifference towards someone, this is considered a toxin, because indifference really means I'm not seeing that person as a spiritual being, as a real divine being. I'm simply seeing them as a means to something that I can get. So if this person can't give me something I want, or can do nothing for me theoretically, then I'm indifferent to that person. And then I may be very attached to somebody or attracted to somebody because of something they can give me. So say you know somebody who has a lot of money, if a person, and then I become very friendly with that person with the hope that one day they'll give me some of that money. That's called being overly attached. It's not seeing the person for who they are, it's having an attachment. And then an aversion is if somebody who, you have an aversion to them because they cause a certain type of suffering, or they impede your ability on some level to fulfill your desires. Now, obviously, we don't want to try to hang out with people that are don't love us and respect us and that type of thing. But to have active aversion, again, means that you're seeing that person on a, quote, selfish level, as opposed to perceiving more deeply into that they're a spiritual being that perhaps has some significant imbalances.
So you're kind of describing the way of human interaction in the current time, right?
Right.
I mean, this is the way people interact all the time.
Exactly.
That's so
Exactly.
sad.
And it's considered a toxin. I mean, even people. And this is my opinion, and everybody has strong opinion, especially in the political arena. We can have very, very strong opinions, and it's all happening all over the world, but certainly in this country. And we can get into our politics and our this and so many different levels of looking at things. But when we forget that the person we're disagreeing with is a soul, that they're a divine entity, and if we forget that, then we get into a big trouble. Because if we're only seeing them as what their current state of consciousness in terms of their thinking is around politics, then you're basically telling yourself, I am only a political being. That's all I am. And that's not true. We're so much bigger than.
I'm glad you brought that up, because
politics.
it's like isn't the underlying problem there is not seeing yourself clearly?
Correct. When you see someone else in an illusion, then that means you're seeing yourself in the same way.
Yeah, or the opposite way, none of which is balanced.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah. You speak of cleansing the body, mind, and spirit. What about the emotions?
Yeah, I mean, I think of the mind and the emotions as going together. But yeah, even when I wrote the book, I should say body, mind, emotions, and soul. But too many words. That's really the only difference. The emotions are definitely included in the mind part of it. That's how I'm thinking about it.
Okay. So some traditions refer to the human body as a temple or a temple of light. Can you explain what's meant by that?
Yeah. Well, in one sense, it's really simple, because we are pure consciousness in a temporary form. And the consciousness that we are is made up of pure light. It's made up of pure love. It's made up of pure light. And it's made up of pure, what in India they call sat, or that which truly exists. It's made up of the energy of pure beingness, pure awareness, and pure love. So that's the nature of who we are, actually. And that nature of who we are is actually considered to be eternal. So that means that when the body falls away, that we, the soul, the Atma, the self, the consciousness, whatever you might want to call it, that continues. So this body is a temple. So if you go into a temple or into a church, it may be very beautiful, but if there's no one in there, it's not so special. It's the people that go in there that make it, make that environment really special, right? So it's the person inside the body that makes the vehicle of the body into a temple. And if we treat the body like a temple, and we treat our life as an opportunity to bring our temple everywhere we go, then we become divine instruments on this planet. So the body is a temple. And we don't want to, just like you wouldn't want to go into a building and malign it or destroy it or harm it or do anything like that. You want to bring as much light and love into that environment as possible. So the same thing I believe we should do for our bodies.
Beautiful. What does toxicity have to do with frequency?
It lowers it because everything wants to vibrate at its optimal vibration, and the human being wants to vibrate at its optimal vibration. And when there's things that interfere with that vibration, then it's harder to perceive that high vibration. So toxins will bring that vibration down. Like I said, you could say from a vibrational perspective, the toxins will bring down the vibration of the liver because the liver has to work harder. It's going to bring down the vibration of the kidney, the cardiovascular system, the brain, the different physical aspects of the body. It's going to bring it down. So mental toxicity, emotional toxicity. Ayurveda says, for instance, you're talking about emotions, that the cause of emotional imbalances are undigested experiences. So when we don't digest an experience, we don't process it and learn from it and let it go, then we carry it with us. So that lowers our vibration as well.
Doesn't that, we're just about out of time in this segment, but doesn't that go right back into that selfish way of being where we only cultivate people for what we can get, or we get rid of people that we think might take from us? That's correct. Undigested, right?
Yeah, that's exactly, and it's all reflected in that. Definitely.
Haven't thought it through.
Yep.
Amazing. Well, we have another segment to go, and I'm really excited to see what we'll come up with on the other side of this upcoming commercial break. Jonathan and I will be back shortly, so you don't want to leave us now. This is the Mission Evolution Radio Show on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. You can always contact us at info@missionevolution.org.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Eli Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Welcome back. This is Mission Evolution Radio Show, bringing together gifted people of service to the world. To suggest a topic or a guest, email us, info@missionevolution.org. Our guest this hour is Ayurvedic Practitioner Jonathan Glass. His website, totallifecleanse.com. Jonathan, an interesting thing we were just bouncing up to in the at the end of the last segment was how if we're these beautiful pure beings of light, which I truly believe we are, then we incarnate into these physical bodies, which become our temples temporarily. But if we're talking about toxins, for generations, our parents and our lineage have been collecting toxins. So basically, these beautiful beings of light are incarnating into an already toxic form. Is that accurate?
Well, we have different degrees of toxins. So yes, we do accumulate toxins. We bioaccumulate, and they do get passed through from one mother to the child, and that's true. That is, there's times when we do hair analysis, for instance, where the mother might have a very, very high amount of copper, and the child might have a very, very high amount of copper. So those do get passed through. Yes.
So
but it is said in this world that there's nothing completely pure except for the soul, because even fire, which is considered the purest material element, is covered by smoke. So there's a duality in this world as well, the polarity, the yin and the yang, as they describe.
Well, it's part of the experience, isn't it?
Right.
But it also would indicate then, follow my logic if it's accurate, sure, that cleansing and preparing oneself before you decide to have a baby could really give that child a more of a head start. Is that accurate? Absolutely.
That's a beautiful point. Yes. Cleansing, preparing, body, mind, and consciousness is a great thing. It's a great thing. Prior to birth, for sure. It's one of the most important times, because whatever the condition of the mother's blood, that will be feeding the blood of the child. That's what's feeding the infant. So absolutely, we can do a lot for the health of our children prior to conception.
And don't you have to be kind of careful, though, once you have conceived, not to do the same thing the poor lady did with the gut backlogged on toxins?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do anything radical. But, sometimes people say, can I cleanse? And from our perspective, these days, for a lot of people, cleansing, at least the first stage of cleansing, is just really cleaning up the diet. Mm-hmm. So if a woman is pregnant, then yes, I would say, you don't want to be doing heavy-duty cleansing herbs that overstir up the liver. But eating super clean and as healthy as possible is a great idea.
So what do you mean by a total life cleanse?
Well, what I mean is kind of what we're talking about is it's when we're cleansing, we're not just cleansing on the physical level. We are absolutely cleansing on the physical level, but we're including, in the context of our cleanse, we're including the intention of cleansing not just the body, but the mind, the emotions, and connecting more deeply to our actual essence as human beings, as spiritual beings. So the purpose of cleansing, just like the purpose in Ayurveda and the purpose of yoga, is not just to have a fit body. That's a byproduct. That's a wonderful byproduct of yoga, of eating well, of having good physical, mental energy. That's a great byproduct. But the goal is really something higher. The goal is really realization of the self, awareness of the inner being, and there's many, many different aspects of self-realization that we could talk about at another time. There's different many levels, many realms, many possibilities, many practices. that have different varying results and benefits. But that's what it comes down to in a nutshell. It's for the whole you, and to really expand the awareness that we're not just a body, that we're a body, mind, soul. And ultimately the real you is the soul, because when the body finishes, who's there but the real you? So.
You know, as you were speaking about that, it occurs to me once again, the modern culture is taking these beautiful ancient forms and using them in an almost selfish way, totally missing the point that we're talking evolutionary here. We're not talking about having a slender waistline.
Right, exactly. So, for the most part, when I talk about cleansing, I might mention, if we have like 20 things that cleansing benefits, I might have optimal weight or weight loss in there at some point, but I don't overemphasize it. It's a good marketing tool because people tend to be into that. But the reality is, when you take good care of yourself and you put in some optimal dietary lifestyle practices, then your body will naturally move toward an optimal weight. And that doesn't mean the weight that you think the body should have, or the waist that you think or we think the body should have. It's what's optimal for you. I mean, some bodies are just bigger than other bodies. By nature, the bones are bigger, the tissues are bigger. Some people are not meant to be skinny. And in fact, it can be unhealthy for some people to be skinny. So it's really about being the best you can possibly be, not trying to be someone else.
There's this beautiful statement that I kind of live by. It says, take care of your health and let your weight take care of itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're all very different as individuals, and one would think dietary requirements vary accordingly. How do we take into consideration when designing a diet and a lifestyle?
Yeah, there's a lot of different aspects. One is to figure out what things are that don't work for you. And so when I meet with patients one-on-one, we always try to identify those foods that are in the category of sensitivities, or foods that are just better for that person to avoid. I mean, many people these days, because of the wheat condition, are literally sensitive to wheat. And so when they avoid that, they feel better. Many people are sensitive to dairy, or at least A1 dairy, the different types of dairy they may be able to eat. So there's different things that they should avoid in general. And then based on body type, based on Ayurvedic dosha, which is your what's called your constitution, what your body likes the best by constitution, and based on symptoms. So if someone comes to me and they say, I'm having chronic sinus infections, no matter what body type, I would tell them, okay, you need to get to a point where you're avoiding dairy and sugar, because those two things will always aggravate sinus conditions. But it's not that everybody, based on constitution, has to avoid dairy from that level. So then there's, now these days, there's some really wonderful, for people that want to do this, there's some genetic tests that I find actually correlate nicely with the Ayurvedic body types. And that's actually one of the chapters in my book, is where I correlate the doshas of the body types in Ayurveda with this particular gene called ApoE gene. And it's very, very interesting how they correlate. The diets recommended correlate, the body types correlate, the symptoms of the tendency toward different diseases correlate. So there's ways, there's new ways to do it too. But I would say that many people, it's beneficial to go to an Ayurvedic practitioner who can identify their body type, their dosha, and that will help them to move forward in terms of, what's optimal to eat, what's optimal to avoid, and even what lifestyle practices, what types of exercise, what types of yoga, things like that would be most beneficial.
So it really caters to the individual, even though you're following a practice. How do you see personal cleansing and proper diet helping the natural world at this time? Yeah,
well, for one thing, reducing the agribusiness of the animal industry I think will be huge. When we cleanse, at least in my cleanse, I've seen other cleanses that don't do this, which to me actually doesn't make sense. But when we cleanse, at some point in the cleanse, we're all eliminating animal food. We're eliminating, meat and dairy. And if we reduced the animal consumption on this planet significantly, which I think we're moving in that direction, but it's taking its time, the amount of deforestation that happens on the planet due to the animal industry is just staggering. So I personally feel that one of the best things we can do for our health, because there's great information coming out now about the benefits of a primarily plant-based diet, and the best benefits we can do for the environment are significantly reducing the amount of animal slaughterhouses on the planet. It's going to have such a huge effect if we could do that, and that's a huge, huge thing. Some people are very habitual and resistant, but there is a big swell of information and increased interest in that area as well now.
What's your vision for our future?
That's a great question. Well, my vision, I was just saying this the other day, we went to this great restaurant, my wife and I said, wouldn't it be awesome if there was one of these like on every, like one in every town? And, my vision is that people continue to really wake up, that people continue to be aware of the connection between what they put in their bodies and their mind, hearts, and consciousness, and how it affects the planet and the environment and the animals. And so my vision is that we become much more peaceful, not just with our minds and hearts, but also with our actions, and that we have a phase of, in the ancient scriptures of India, they say we're in the dark age, but there's a golden age within the dark age, and it said we just entered that. This is my understanding. So we have potential. We see so much darkness around us, but there's also this great potential for
equal potential
upswing of light and love on the planet.
Jonathan, I'm so with you, and thank you so much for your beautiful work in the world and for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Gwilda. It's a real pleasure.
Our guest this hour has been Jonathan Glass, Ayurvedic practitioner and the author of Total Life Cleanse, a 28-day program to detoxify and nourish the body, mind, and soul. His website, totallifecleanse.com. For our amazing past episode collection, visit our website, www.missionevolution.org. This has been Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Join us next time as this mission continues, bringing information, resources, and support to an evolving world.
With a passion for divination, Cooch Daniels, lifelong professional reader and author, invites you on a mystical journey on the Mystics, Oracles, and Divination radio show. During her time with you, you'll meet visionaries, readers, energy lightworkers, and healers who work with the tarot and other oracles. As a psychic guide, Cooch Daniels will be seeking to discover both New Age and traditional methods to deepen your mutual understanding of how you can further awaken your intuition and abilities to work with your divinatory channels. Cooch will end each hour of her show answering your questions and a meditative contemplation for prosperity, well-being, and good fortune. Join Cooch Daniels and her guests on the Mystics, Oracles, and Divination radio show at www.xzbn.net, and you can always email Cooch at mysticarts4you@yahoo.com. That's MYSTICARTS, the number 4, @yahoo.com. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.